It was mid-April and I was feeling a little burnt out. The start of the year had been incredibly busy. Long days sat in front of my screen had just started to take its toll a little, as it does from time to time. New budgets, Baitworks business objectives, we were working on marketing plans, and then there was the tax returns, the risk assessments, social media content, website development, and of course editing stuff. These were just a few tasks that all needed my time. To be honest, I desperately needed a break from my screen. So on a whim, I decided to book a week off work, as I knew spending time outside would be nature's cure and would give me a break away from the addictive glare of my Mac. However, little did I know just how incredible the week was about to turn out.
Pricey water.
Oh, there it is. Well, what an unusual intro to a carp fishing blog, because I'm sat next to a steaming hot tub with a backdrop of a luxurious cabin. I'm at Millhayes Lodges and Lakes, and I must admit, first impressions, it's just incredible. It is incredible. Stunning location, fantastic facilities. We obviously got the exclusivity of the lodge here. We've got the fishing chucked in as well with some fantastic carp to go at. I've never done this sort of holiday before. It feels very unusual to combine all this luxurious stuff behind me in the mix of potentially catching a carp or two. But I'm here for many reasons. One of them is to enjoy some downtime. I'm gonna have a digital detox. I'm gonna turn the phone off, no social media for a few days. But also, unfortunately, I can't go abroad at the moment. And the reason being is my little dog, who is just the other side there, and he's fast asleep. Now, let me cast you back about 2 years ago. I went on holiday for 2 weeks, and unfortunately, my little dog, who now is 18 years old, he's the oldest dog I've ever had, suffered a bout of sort of anxiety, really, separation anxiety, bless him. So I vowed at that point that I was never going to put him in a kennel while I go on holiday, never going to stay with friends or family. He just did not like it. And unfortunately, that maybe just comes with age. You know, he's given me 18 years of fantastic companionship, and I'm not going to give him any stress. So I vowed for, you know, he's in his twilight years. I hate to admit that, unfortunately, but they never last forever. So I thought, you know, when he suffered that anxiety, that separation anxiety, I thought I'm gonna take him on holiday with me from now on. And that's why we're here. This ticked all the boxes. Not only fishing, luxurious cabin, it's a stunning location. And I'll go into more about what's on offer here later on in the week. But for the time being, I'm gonna try and jump in here, have a bit of a relaxation moment, put the barbecue on, go and bait some areas, and hopefully, as the week unfolds, might catch a couple of carp, and I'll give you a bit of an insight into what's on offer, because if you've never done this sort of thing and you're planning on putting it on the to-do list with your family to combine a bit of fishing with this sort of thing, this place is incredible. Well, I thought I'd give you a bit of an insight into the accommodation at Millhayes. As you can see, I'm walking along the veranda area. First and foremost, the hot tub. That's definitely going to be getting some use over the stay. Lovely dining area outside. At the moment, we've got some idyllic weather, so I'm hoping some al fresco dining is going to happen here. Sunbeds. The girls are going to love that, because I think we've got a couple of days of lovely sun. Barbecue. There's obviously a chimney there. Then the guys have been kind enough to supply wood, and if you need any more, there's a constant supply. So if you need wood for the chimney, there we go. It's all there for you. You don't have to think about anything. So it seems. Right, I'm going to walk into the main lobby, or the main seating area of the lodge. Now, this sleeps 6. Dining room space. It's very open plan. It feels nice and airy. Seating area, and a log burner, which again comes with fire lighters, kindling, and I can see the logs out there. We might end up putting that on, but the weather looks so nice, I don't think that's going to get any use at all. Obviously TVs, internet, everything's provided. And as I look out of the main sort of seating area, you've got that idyllic view, which takes some beating, to be fair. I'm gonna really enjoy myself here. Dog's gonna like it, I know that for a fact. And of course you can fish out here if the fish are in this area, but everything I've seen so far on a few walks have been down that end. But if they're here, imagine having rods there and just enjoying yourself, and even in the hot tub. But yeah, idyllic. But as I come through, we've got a double room. Those beds look extra comfortable. Look at those pillows, they look, oh, yes, that's gonna be a lovely night's sleep. I got Dave down, so they're gonna be staying in this room, and I think they're gonna enjoy the view because you can wake up, open your doors, and once again, see that lovely idyllic view of water. And it's the nature. One thing I'm finding straight away is the birds are in full swing. I think I'm gonna enjoy myself here, that's for sure. Right, let's come through to the kitchen area. One thing that struck me immediately is it feels like no expense has spared. A lot of this, well, all of it feels top end. All the cooking utensils, the kitchen, and believe it or not, everything's provided. There's a dishwasher tablets, cleaning equipment. I have brought all those things just in case, but everything's here. There's a shared bathroom here with a shower and a bath, and a twin room where my son's gonna be staying. Lovely. Of course, I've bagged the master bedroom, which is through this area. And it looks lovely. Again, those double doors are gonna be, well, I'm gonna open them now. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. The weather's too nice to stay indoors. So open them up, look at that. Yeah, just waking up there with that, I think sells itself, doesn't it? Right, obviously TVs in every room. I've been told there's fantastic internet here as well, so no problems with connection. And the master bedroom comes with an ensuite with a shower, obviously all the amenities that you need. And that, well, this is where we are going to be staying for the next 5 or so days. So if you're thinking already that this ticks all the boxes for the family, I can honestly say so far, first impressions, it's far exceeded my expectations. And I love the way that it's finished in that wood. You get that lovely woody smell. Feels like you're lost in the woods. Right, time to unpack. Yeah, have another couple of laps, see if I can find some carp. Might do a bit of fishing this week, but I can see myself spending a lot more time than I should do in there, and eating a lot more meat and barbecue food off there than any man needs. But for the time being, I'm gonna put this down and enjoy the surroundings. Look at that.
Well, the barbecue was soon in full flow. The evening was warm, the ambience was perfect. It was great to spend a bit of time with good friends, just as the sun set over this wonderful location. The dog was also in his element and was soon snoring after a belly full of leftover sausages. All felt good in the world as we retired into bed that first night. Now, a big part of this trip was to also spend some quality time with my son Declan. But like most parents, at times I feel it's incredibly hard to pull him away from his games and screen time. It seems so many kids are becoming addicted, almost dependent on technology these days. So when I heard that Millhayes had a float fishing lake, it was music to my ears, as I knew this would capture Declan's attention, especially if it was prolific. What a wonderful little lake it turned out to be. It was a fisher chuck with such a variety of smaller species. Every young angler's dream pool, in fact, and yet another great addition to the Millhayes site, especially if you wanted to get your kids into fishing. This little pool was perfect and Declan loved it.
Mate, it's a cruising carp. Look at him. They're lovely little creatures, they are.
Yeah.
Not very common, not as common as roach and stuff. Look at him. He's fantastic.
Later that evening, I decided to get some rods set up as I headed off in search of my first Millhayes carp.
Right, it's time to leave the luxury cabin. Oh, it's going to be difficult, this is, because I'm actually going to fish right over the far side of the lake. I think to myself, if anyone's going to hire this cabin out, they're going to fish here. Just convenience, aren't they? So I'm thinking just to be different, I'm going to go as far away as I can and walk my kit down, leave the luxury of this area, which is going to be bloody difficult, I tell you. Just got out of the hot tub, had a lovely barbecue, but I've got a spare couple of hours, so I'm going to try and go and get some rods in and try and catch one. Oh, right, here goes. Sun's setting over there, looks beautiful, doesn't it? If there's ever a time that the carp are going to potentially feed today, it's going to be now, isn't it? It's been really hot today and they have not wanted to know. They've just been sat in the weed, just tenting around and doing not a lot. So right, let's go for it. And I forgot my handles for my barrow. Look at this. This is improvisation. 2 storm sticks. Oh dear, I'm not sure it's going to be the best, but right, let's go for it. Oh. Right, as you can see, I've made it with all the kit. Little bag of bait. That's Cremino freezer 12 mils. All the necessities. A few buzzers, bivvy, 1 rucksack. Obviously the lodge is all the way over there. I've got a bed, a few bits of camera gear and a rod. And this rod here is going to go along this sort of bank here, but I'm going to put it on a washing line just the other side of that tree, this tree here, and I'm going to feed it round the tree, come into this corner, a tight line so there's no line in the margins, drop it in close, and that's going to be the first rod. Hopefully I can stay away from any footfall, because one thing I'm noticing straight away is that as soon as you walk anywhere near them, they're gone. So yeah, that's the plan. Oh, I think I can see some fizzing on the bottom already. That's interesting. Oh wow, yeah. There's some feeding activity here for sure. Don't know if you can see any of that, but it's out there. Oh, one's just showed there as well. Right, okay. This feels like it could be game on. Right, let's go. That's it. That felt good. That went down with a right donk, so 1 cast is all I'm going to have. Oh, what was that? That was definitely one showed there. So the plan is now to sink this line. And then to put it under the hairband like this. Then get the thing open, there you go, like that. That just traps a line in there. Also when the fish go off, it pulls it out, and that goes back to the rod. Now the other two rods I'm going to be putting out on little chods, little tiny leads. What are these? Well, I stole them from Dave because I didn't actually bring any little leads with me. These are what's that, 1 1/4, and yeah, little hauler pop-ups. And because of that filamentous weed, I've just put a little spread of Cremino in the 12mm all around, not tight baiting. I've spread it pretty liberally today, hoping that they will much prefer to search bits out in the weed. I've put it in the weed and everywhere, so that's what I'm going to put out on these two rods, and fingers crossed they'll do the trick. Deadly method in the right situation. I don't fish it very often, in fact hardly ever. It's the first time I put these on since for as long as I can remember. But I'm just a little bit paranoid about that weed being, it's so clingy and it clings to everything. Hopefully these are going to be presenting no matter what I flick it on, and I don't want too many casts, so yeah, let's see how these fare this evening. That's the one. That was lovely. I even felt the rod tip go donk.
I actually decided to fish overnight. As the traps were all set, I soon slipped into the bag, feeling quietly confident of a bite.
Well, good morning, and I must admit I'm feeling a little bit bleary-eyed. I'm tired. There's a stream behind me, which is lovely to hear the running water, but it took a little bit of time to sort of get myself used to the ambience of this little corner, because it's so peaceful over there. But the temptation not to stay in that lodge last night has paid off. Coming all the way to this corner and getting a couple of rods out inconspicuously and quietly as I possibly could. The washing line has gone like 10 minutes ago. It's pinged out the clip, as it always does with a couple of bleeps on a washing line. You know something's happening. And yes, a little 10mm Cremino on a little slip D with a half a hauler pop-up on the top, a little pink topper, has produced a lovely mirror. I don't know how big it is. I actually haven't even got any scales, but it looks about 30 pound-ish. So what a result. What a fantastic result. I'm really chuffed with that. Felt like a little bit of extra effort, but it's paid off. So yeah, get Matt ready, get a few bits ready, and we'll have a little look. Well, a little bit of video. That'll be lovely. Look at him. There he is. A Millhayes cracker. Absolutely fantastic. Well chuffed with that. Definitely feels up near 30 pound, that one. Oh, what a great morning prize.
I quickly packed down and celebrated the morning's success with a hearty brekkie, before heading into the village with the gang. Now the weather had also taken a turn, and it seemed that the rain was now set in for the next few days.
Hello. Well, nothing better than a village baked cake. I'm not sure what I got here, some desiccated coconut something or another. A real treat, don't usually eat this sort of stuff. Whereas him, on the other hand, will eat anything he can get his hands on. Look at that, greedy guts. Isn't they? They call him greedy belly, that's what you are. But it's raining outside, so we're going to try and find ourselves a nice little village pub, sit and have a coffee or something, and let this rain pass, and get out of the cabin. Well, the luxurious cabin, should we say, for an hour or so. So much to do around here. There's lovely walks, loads of village pubs, village shops, local amenities. It's great. So yeah, plenty to do when you're not fishing. Well, today has been a complete family day, and I knew this was always going to be the case. It's not about the fishing this week. I'm going to be stealing hours here, hours there. The float fishing has been fantastic, and we'll continue to do that. Those crusions, catching those, watching Declan's face, has been addictive. But the weather's taken a turn for the worse now. It's blowing a gale out there. It's torrential rain, but the pressure has dropped. So it's ideal fishing conditions. I think after this morning's results, I really got lucky trying to capture that one. But if there was carp fishing conditions, it's now. So I want to try and make the most of it. The fire's roaring. Family are going to stay in here and keep themselves warm while I'm going to go outside, try and prep a few areas, and I'm going to try and fish it again, probably this evening, stroke tomorrow morning. But yeah, once I sit in here and that fire's going, it's very difficult to go out there, especially with this weather. But I'm not going to catch them sat in here. So that's the plan. I'm going to go and bait some spots, and then I'll come back and enjoy the fire, glass of wine, Cornish pasty, why not? And then I'm going to sort some rods out and then fish this evening. So that is the plan.
Well, it was at this point in the holiday that everything changed on the fishing front. Now, I'd seen a lot of feeding activity around certain weed beds that morning, so decided to go and investigate the areas. Now, what quickly became apparent was the abundance of natural food. There were shrimps, snails, larvae. In fact, it was alive, and the carp clearly knew that too. So it was at that point I decided to completely change my tactics, incorporating pellets, both Atlantic heat and edge pellets, and lots of them. Oh, well, that is not much fun. I'm drenched through, well, not quite, but trousers are taking a bit of a battering. But there's some spots prepped, which is great. Got one on the far bank, which I'm going to wash in line to. I got one down to the left. I'm going to wash in line then over to the far margin. So 2 on washing lines and 1 slotted between some weed. Both real nice area, all 3 real nice areas actually. Took the time with a little small lead, making sure that I was avoiding all that snaggy, horrible sort of clingy weed, that algae, and I think I found some real nice drops in amongst it all. So fingers crossed they can stay doing their thing for an hour or 2 while I get some rigs prepared. I'm going to slightly change tactics this evening, and I'm going to sort of scale down a little bit. So edge pellet, and yeah, hopefully in an hour or so I'll have some rods prepared and ready to go. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and dry off in the lodge. Might even jump in the hot tub. I know that sounds bizarre. Let those spots sort of do their magic and get some rods on it before it gets dark. Well, that didn't take very long at all. The rod's been out, I reckon, 10 minutes. And I've got the family behind me. Declan's holding the torch. That's a big old common. That's well over £30. Wish I'd have brought my scales. In fact, I left them on the Baitworks desk and I just forgot them. That's a big old carp, that is. Let's try and get some video. Get the rod back out. Well, hopefully I'm going to need some commentary from behind the camera, because as you can tell, it's dark. I would never, and obviously there's no sacking or retaining policy, but it's only just got dark. But I wish I wouldn't have forgot my scales, because this is a big Millhayes fish. And I'm at the mercy of the guys behind the camera to tell me whether that's in frame, my head, the fish. How are we looking?
Yep, all good.
Yeah? Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. I think that's right up there. I'll check with Jez tomorrow, but I think that's definitely one of the Millhayes big commons. What a great result. And the family are helping me doing all the video. They've never done it before, so thank you very much. God, let's get you back, buddy. Let's get you back. Oh, I wonder how big he is. I'll never know. Well, I'm talking quietly because it's about 12:30, 1:45 at night. Catching that lovely common just on dark. What a great result. It's exactly what I wanted. As you can tell, the rods are to my left here. Sorry, you're at arm's length, so I'm recording everything on my own at the minute. So because it's so late, everyone's asleep. My son's asleep, my other half's asleep. But I'm going to sort all these rods out, because what I want to do in the morning is get up 5 o'clock and steal a few more hours in the morning. And you never know, by the time these guys get up, I might have a carp or 2 to show them. But yeah, got to sort these rods out. They're still covered in weed. That algae gets everywhere. So it takes ages to pick it all off the rigs. But I'm going to tie some fresh baits on and then get to bed, but set the alarm for about 4 hours time. Long days, but rewarding. I'd caught that common on a method I'd used to great effect in the 90s,
during what was classed as like the trout pellet boom. In fact, it's a tactic I've never seen anyone else use since, and I'd almost forgotten about it myself. But when carp are feeding on just pellets, they can be really tricky to catch. They move slow, and with a regulated suck tuned into small food items, they can be really tricky to hook. So I wanted to match the hatch, so to speak, and fish a tiny hook bait. So I simply reverted back to that old method of tying on 2 or 3 6mm Atlantic pellets with floss. Now these hook baits last around 4 to 5 hours, which was perfect for my short stints behind the rods. What a game changer this turned out to be. And despite the alarm being set for 5 AM, I couldn't sleep with anticipation for the following morning.
Well, there he is. Another fine example of a Millhayes mirror. I once again fell to the washing line in these early morning sessions, getting up while everyone's still in bed. It's paying off because I'm getting my fix with this lovely fish. Look at that. Well, that's me done for the morning. Couple of hours and I get my fix, and fortunate enough to catch a couple of carp, which is great. But the rods are reeled in now. They're going to be propped up in the lodge, and I'm going to have a quick shower, grab the family. We're going to go for a pub lunch to celebrate. It's a lovely pub. Well, there's plenty of lovely pubs in the area, but this one's called the Keeper's Cottage. I can't wait to sit in there and have a hearty lunch. Lovely, quaint little picturesque pub. It actually looks like somebody's house, doesn't it?
Smoked salmon and prawns.
There's a lunchtime one here.
What have you got there? You've got a monster breakfast.
All-day brunch.
Wait for the veg.
Well, by now, I was into a routine. I'd bait up my spots before we headed out for the day. We'd often return around 6 PM, at which time me and Declan would go off and float fish for an hour or so.
Do you like the birds singing?
I like waking up to that in the morning when we go fishing.
Yeah, go on in.
I'll put it around here.
Put it a bit further out, that's it. That's it. Oh, that's a golden rudd. Amazing. We'll just gently guide him in then, and I'll scoop him out just here with my hand. That's it, gently does it. That is an absolute beauty.
Got a picture of that one?
Now this was really special.
On camera.
Just no interruptions, no gaming to distract him, just the birds and the bobbing of the float to pass the time. I'd almost forgotten just how relaxing it was to watch a float sail away, and to see Declan enjoying it as much as me really took me back to my youth. It felt like a nostalgic trip down memory lane.
What could it be? Do you reckon? Make sure you keep the tension on it though, because obviously it's a little barbless hook. And I think they only light hook themselves because we're quick on the strike. Well, what is that?
Might be the golden.
Oh yeah, a cruising. We've been missing them, haven't we? Yeah.
Is that going for his nose?
No, just on the top lip. Look at him. Yes.
So much so, I didn't even fish that evening, much preferring to bait up and light the barbecue, before enjoying a cold beer in front of the chiminea with just the tawny owls for company. The lack of both light and noise pollution really was magical. But once again, my 5 AM alarm was set for an early cast.
It's on. It's run out of battery, I think. Can you bring the net? Candice. Anyone? Quick. Well, look at that big weed bed that I'm bringing in. Look, across the surface there. There.
Oh yeah.
Right, come to me. How have you done that? Yeah. Not too. Is this weed? Oh, here he goes, trying to get in there now. He's at the back of the weed, look. See it? Look. Right, there's a bit of a problem here because this fish is caught up in all this algae, and as you can probably see, it's just resting there, just out of reach of the net. So I've got to try and get the net under it as well, not getting any of this algae. Ooh, not easy. This algae is a pain in the arse. But I can see the fish there. There he is, look. This is tentative times, you don't really want to try and... There he is. I think he's in. Is he in? Come on. Come on. Come on. There he is. He's in. Haha. That was a joint effort. Well, there we go. That's another lovely Millhayes mirror. The other half brought me some crumpets and a coffee. And just as I was tucking into it, this little fella ramped off. So yeah, £24, 8 ounces I think. And I do know that now because Jez lent me some scales. So judging on the weight of this one, if this was 24.5, I think the others, I could have had 3 30-pounders so far. But what a lovely, lovely place. That's it, put him down. Fantastic. Should we get him back?
Yep.
Let's get him back.
When we arrived at Millhayes, I immediately spotted something quite unique. Now, just off to the left was a crystal clear pool, which actually fed the fishery. Now, Jez informed us that this was in fact a natural spring, and the water originated from the Brecon beacons. Now, that was mind-boggling to think it travels under the English Channel and pops up here in Devon. Now, every fishery owner will at some stage worry about oxygen, but clearly Millhayes was different, as it had a regular turnover of new water. There was spring water coming in at one end, and the lake overflow going out at the other. It was no surprise to hear just how the fish had thrived in this little lake with such a rich environment.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
What's been the highlight of the trip so far?
Float fishing, to be honest.
Float fishing, catching those crusions? Yeah, well, as soon as the rain stops, we'll go back and try and catch the big tench that you lost.
Dead again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I've got to get out one.
Look at this. Typical British weather, isn't it? 2 days ago it's 28 degrees and I've burnt myself a little bit, not preparing for that sort of weather, and then now, muddy puddles. Perfect. Right.
7 PM before I managed to tie my 3 tiny Atlantic heat pellets to the rigs that evening. but I wanted to grab a few hours, as it was in fact our last night at Millhayes. I was also running out of bait. Feeding heavily during the days when I was out with the family had worked wonders, and I had a feeling tonight was going to be another productive evening of action. And I wasn't wrong.
Quick look at him because the other rod's gone off and I got another one of similar size, so yeah, there we are. That's a nice scaly one. And that's the culprit. Oh, well, that's the first bite. Rod was like 10 minutes. I think that's fish number 8. Our fish number 9 is in the net. But like everything, it's always a bit of a rush. Squeezing it all in the same day. Family, bit of fishing, but to end every day on a fish like this is exactly what I was hoping for. He's lovely. Well, I wasn't going to get this one out, but considering it's a nice fat little common, I thought, why not? Another lovely chunky example of a prairie carp. I love the shape of their tails and their body shape. They've got great potential, aren't they? Even when they're like this size at 20 pound, you can just see the pedigree of these fish. Oh yeah, what a fantastic last evening. Now I've got the task of trying to get both rods out before it gets dark. If I got another hour's fishing, am I allowed another hour?
As I was redoing the rods, the other two, in complete contrast, were enjoying the hot tub, as they did most days. I guess that's the joys of the luxury facilities on offer at this fabulous venue.
Oh, there he is. That's a lovely way to end the evening. £29. And the rod had been out 10 minutes. 3 little Atlantic heat pellets again tied to the back of the hook because I don't think I've seen that tactic before. Not used to getting caught on pellet actually on the hook. But there he is. Oh, I keep saying it, but these carp in Millhayes are lovely. Well, I'm going to miss this. Oh. A cold beer, and all I can hear is the owls and the deer and the wildlife into the inky black of the Millhayes countryside. When you've got all this to yourself, it feels incredibly liberating just to sit here and just take in the ambience of nature. Yeah, the hustle and bustle of life kicks in tomorrow as we head home. 10 AM we've got to check out. And I'll tell you what, none of us, and I mean none of us, want to go. We could easily stay here for another week. It's been absolutely incredible. Well, I couldn't sleep last night. It doesn't help when all I can hear is carp sloshing out in front of the bedroom window, which is a blessing and a curse because it's a lovely sight, and it's lovely to hear them sloshing about. And but when you're led there and you're trying to sleep, and all you can hear are these big carp sort of jumping out over your area, oh, it's too much to resist. And yes, I am going home in a minute. And yes, I do need to pack everything down. And yes, the family is still asleep, but I reckon I can get a rod out quickly enough and quietly enough to maybe just carve one more chance. Let's have a look, let's wait and see.
Well, with just a few hours left before the pack down began, I got a chance to reflect on what a wonderful week we'd had. It was the first time in years and years that I'd actually been able to turn off from the demands of life. I rarely looked at my phone. Declan didn't miss his computer games at all. We enjoyed quality time outside, and I had some real precious moments with my old companion. Now I have no idea how many holidays we have left together, but this last week ensured he was also living his best life. Now Millhayes had one last surprise for me, before it's time to reel in.
Well, there he is. I couldn't resist one last cast. 32 pound, 6:15 in the morning. The alarm's going to go off at 7 o'clock. All the family are going to get up. We need to pack down and go home. But I snuck out just for one last cast. How's that? That's a lovely leaving present. Oh yes. Fantastic carp.